It's us.
Welcome, everybody, to the Ohio State Cotton Bowl postgame show here on the Voice of College Football. I am Ron James of Best Damn Media here with my guy, QP Ski. Not the ending to the season that we anticipated, but we are here. How you doing, Q?
Oh man, the ending I guess we deserved because it matched the rest of the season post games. I'm good, man. I'm good. The season is over. Didn't go out with a bang, but it is what it is.
I burned the boats, bro. I gotta call an Uber.
We gotta go build some boats back, man. We're gonna be on this island for a while. We got all off season to get those boats repaired.
Man, I mean, a whirlwind of a season. I was looking for some bit of hope. It's a glimmer of something to be excited about into the off season, and I am ready to curl up into the fetal position and cry. Like, this season has been an absolute roller coaster. It followed all the way into National Signing Day of being an absolute roller coaster, and here we are ending our season with a 3-point offensive performance. Q, how are you feeling after this loss? A lot of excitement. We talked during the pregame shows all day today about how excited we were for this game. Almost a giddiness, almost like a holiday giddiness. People were so excited Buckeye football was back. We talked about watching Miami go out there and struggle with their third string quarterback and just missing college football. Well, college football was back today. How are you feeling about the return of Buckeye football, man?
Oh man, well, I'm gonna be honest. I mean, well, first of all, we got 65 people in here, so obviously we don't get to share our sorrows alone. Go ahead and like that video, man. Appreciate y'all pulling up. I really didn't care about the end result of the game. I'm not gonna lie. It's a bowl game. It was pretty meaningless. But I just wanted some excitement. I wanted to see some guys go out there and fly and get to play. And yet again, I still don't get to see that. I still don't get to see zone 6. I still get to see an offensive line get absolutely obliterated with an 8-man box and get absolutely no chance. And then when they did get a chance, let guys just run free. I still didn't get to see Devin Brown or burn the boats. Would he play about 2 drives before he got hurt? Not much at all. Still don't get to see him.
I saw the tweets on the timeline. They said Devin Brown Cotton Bowl highlights, and they had Aaron Rodgers running the flag out during the opening game of the season for the Jets. Man, that had to have been the vibes that everyone around Buckeye Nation felt seeing Devin Brown go down. We saw the hype and the energy around this team. It was noticeable. I mean, say what you want about the limited snaps you saw Devin Brown play. There was a tangible excitement around this program with Devin handing out the speakers, the different players talking about the elements that Devin adds with extending the plays with his legs, and to see that ripped away immediately. And then the people that have been screaming for Lincoln Keenholz all season got their wish. I mean, the most careful what you wish for moment I think that I've seen in a long time. The Buckeyes have a lot of questions at the quarterback position, a lot of questions on the offensive line. I think normally when we do these post-game shows, we start with an MVP. I mean, Jesse Bierko? Like, I'm struggling. You guys let us know in the chat. Do you even have an MVP? Like, I'm grasping for anything positive because I know this is about to go into a rant of everyone letting out all of their frustration from this season, all of their frustrations with Ryan Day, the coaching staff, the support staff, and everything that we've seen that is culminated in the Buckeyes not getting it done year after year after year. And I saw a lot of people say it on the timeline today. I can deal with not losing a not winning a national championship. I cannot keep losing to the team up north and then ending the seasons like this. Like, when you have the expectations that you put on this program of every year you come out and tell us, hey, we have 3 goals. It's to beat the team up north, it's to win the Big Ten championship, and it's to compete for a national title. And when you're not doing that, what are your fans supposed to be taking away? We don't have, you gave the stat on the pregame show. The Buckeyes have not lost a non-playoff bowl game since 2013. It's been a decade since the Buckeyes have felt like this, and they want us to be optimistic. But about what? I constantly say that I don't like. We get a rap for being overly negative about this team and pessimistic about this team, bro. I am the first person that's excited to lie about these players and tell you they're the greatest thing that you've ever seen touch the field. But they can't even give me something to lie about. I just want to lie, Q. Give me something to lie about.
Well, I wanted to be juiced off this game because I'm not gonna lie. Even after last season, I mean, we felt like we pissed away a championship against Georgia by just falling apart at the end. But at least I left the game feeling like, damn, like we actually played one of the best teams of college football, an exciting game. Like really went out there and let it fly and just came a little bit short. I mean, I will give credit to the defense. They look good for about the 3.5 quarters. So they were like, oh, hell, we have no hope. I mean, Luther Burton, who I had all this hype about, I was looking forward to see him match up against BIA. I mean, Dog said it at halftime, he was in an insane asylum. That man was so strapped up. I think he caught one pass against nobody, really, because between Josh Proctor and Sonny Styles, which neither of them guarded him, and had one run. So even that wasn't exciting to even get that matchup. So overall, I mean, I thought the defense played well for the most part. We expected them all season. The offense, I mean, we got robbed of seeing Devin Brown. I mean, at this point, I think you have to go out and get a transfer quarterback. I think you got to bring Cam Ward at least to know that either Devin Brown improved massively to where he's starting next year, or we can ride with Cam Ward in this list of weapons that we've talked about coming in. And one thing I can deal with losing a little bit. I can't deal with boring ass football at Ohio State. We recruit the best players in the country. Like, I could deal with a loss if it's exciting, at least. At least let me go be a fan. I can't deal with that shit I just watched of like by the second quarter. I'm like, bro, can we cancel Postgame? I just want to go to bed because I am exhausted from watching boring ass football. And that's what we got. I mean, damn, Missouri, a top 10 SEC team. Like, at least give me some highlights on there and let me watch something exciting.
You're tired of inept offense? My franchise quarterback is Kenny Pickett, and you want to talk to me about suffering? I just went through this Ohio State season with what we just saw of offensive output with Marvin Harrison Jr., and then on Sundays, I got to watch my quarterback trot out there with 2 damn gloves on, and you want to complain to me about ineptitude? I have been in suffering and mourning. I don't want to stay negative this entire time. I want to tip my cap to the defense. We talked during the pregame show about could there potentially be a guy on this defense from the 2021 class that plays himself into a higher draft grade and makes himself reconsider his decision. We've heard a lot of rumors about a lot of these guys from the junior class returning and coming back, potentially seeing the whole defense return minus the linebackers and Still Chambers and Tommy Eichenberg. Did our guy Jack Sawyer play himself into a day 2 pick? Did he elevate his stock enough with his performance? Did you see anyone on the defense that you thought performed well enough to maybe reconsider their decision to come back if that is the way they're leaning?
Well, actually, one of the bright spots, I saw a scheme at the defensive line that I have not seen in a while. I saw a little bit of a wider stance from JT and Zach this game and say, just fuck it and go get the quarterback. Like, I actually saw that for the first time in forever. So that was actually refreshing. I thought Burt played extremely well, which we all thought. I mean, he really had their wide receivers in handcuffs for 99% of the game. So I thought the defense looked pretty good. I mean, we even got a CJ Hicks signing for a second, which was like, it was fun to just see him on the field. I mean, everybody's going to blame the quarterback for running past him, but he does have to guard the running back and can't switch directions in a split second with keeping both his ACLs. So let's lay off a little bit of that. But I see everybody complaining about that. But I'm like, at least we got to see a little bit. I mean, the defense looked good. I mean, Jordan Hancock again puts together a good performance. He gave a couple passes. One was a dot from Cook. So I won't put that one on him. But I thought the defense again held true to form. They were all rolled back next season. It makes me excited. I just need some offensive ball. But Jack Sawyer, Jack Sawyer and Burke definitely improved their draft stocks if they're going to go.
Absolutely. I still think both of those guys come back, but man, did they have great performances tonight, and I wish that we would have had the offense to support it. I feel like a lot of the blame is just being pointed everywhere. I mean, I know Buckeyes are in mourning. They're lashing out right now, the stages of grief they're going through, and I want to ask you about who are you blaming right now? Like, if you had to solely put the blame in one spot, whether that be quarterback, offensive line, coaching, where do you point the finger immediately after this loss? Because I am just sitting here almost at a loss for words, because I'm just trying to wrap my head around what I just watched. A 3-point performance from the Ohio State team that they used to say, I mean, do you guys remember turning on College Game Day and them saying, if the Buckeyes get off the bus, they're putting up 40? I think we scored 40 once the entire year. Like, where is the explosion of the offense that we've seen from Ryan Day? And like, I can't help but think about, imagine CJ Stroud with this defense. It seems like we finally get things right on defense, and we have a defense that can compete for a national championship, and we just completely crap the bed when it comes to quarterback play, offensive line play calling. I mean, I put together an Ohio State bingo card, and I swear I had bingo before the end of the first quarter. I think I had Josh Simmons penalty, special teams blunder, and bubble screen. I mean, like, it is the most predictable Ohio State bingo card ever, and Ryan Day stayed true to it. So, Q, where do you place the blame immediately after this loss?
I would say have a quarterback play. I mean, obviously they prepped Devin Brown to come in here and at least give the offense a fighting chance in some life, and that quickly went out the window. And Lincoln Kyle is a freshman, people. Like, I mean, I cannot judge the man's career off of starting a game he probably had no idea he was going to ever play in, and having to play 3 quarters and try to put something up. But also, I gotta blame Ryan Day a little bit. Now, look, I understand Lincoln Kinehol's a freshman, and like, you gotta dumb down I don't want to call it dumb down, but limit the offense and not just expose him. But also, too, bruh, you got to do something other than HB dive and QB power until the fourth quarter when you have no choice. Like, we can run screen, we can do something, but you're about to get Travion Henderson the meanest concussion of his life, just saying, yeah, they're gonna blitz 8, but run through them. Like, a little bit of this lackluster offense. I'm like, Ryan Day, come on, bruh. I know Lincoln Kineholz can throw a screen. I know Lincoln Kineholz can roll back and do something.
But how much of the offense has he been exposed to? And that's something that me and Chris Drew have politely hinted at all season to the Lincoln Kineholz army on Twitter and all around these social spaces, in our comments on the page, telling us constantly that Lincoln Kineholz is the guy. And I'm like, we're hearing from inside of these practices that Lincoln's repping behind Tristan up until the Michigan State game, primarily running the scout team offense. Like, this guy's not repping with the 2s. He's not repping with the 3s. This guy is primarily a scout team guy, and he didn't even early enroll. So the idea that he would be ready to get into play, and even the announcers mentioned during the game, it seems like the Buckeyes are willing to exhaust every effort before they put Lincoln out there. Right? Ryan Day wanted to do absolutely everything in his power to keep Devin Brown out there, to the point that they ran a fake pitch to a hurt quarterback. I mean, that we have a play that we talk about every week that infuriates us more than anything, and it's stretched to the boundary. It's Ryan Day's favorite play. It never works. We do it all the time. And he was like, hold my beer, watch this one, fake pitch, direct snap to our hurt quarterback. Where does that rank in the silliest plays that you have seen from Ryan Day in his tenure at Ohio State?
Bro, to the fact to have Devin Brown running in the Wildcat, making him move more than he would have to if he would just have him throw a screen or hand the ball off is absolutely insane. I don't get it. And you kind of hit the nail on the head here. Reps, man. Reps in these blowout wins that we have. And even for to Devin Brown. Devin Brown gets in the game. I mean, obviously he's had 30 days to prepare, but he doesn't quite come in as comfortable. But the guy hasn't played. I mentioned it on State of the Program. Kyle McCord had more attempts in pretty much besides one every game this season that Devin Brown had throughout the season. Like in every game, he attempted more passes than Devin Brown had throughout the season. Lincoln Kyle has attempted what 3 passes this year, maybe if that. So like you and who was the lineman? Vamahi. I've never seen him play. To come out and start, he's a.
I'm glad that you brought that up.
I've never seen him play, but it's like he's playing like this is his first, and it might be his first game experience.
So Dave Biddle asked the question on the timeline. Did we suspend a starter due to comments about NIL collectives?
No, he opted out as a sophomore.
Opted out as a
sophomore.
sophomore.
Game. No,
it sure would be interesting if we benched our starting center because he said something that the collectives didn't like. And I mean, when we talk about the era of NIL and the impact on the game, I feel like a lot of people are like not paying attention to the politics that do go on behind the scenes when you're dealing with this much money from big, powerful donors and people that care about this program and have influence on this program. And it's going to be interesting to see what Ryan has to say in the press conference, if anyone does catch the press conference and knows. If he's asked about why Hinsman did not play today, go ahead and throw it in the chat and let us know. But it has been hinted out there that this may have something to do with the interview that came out over the Christmas break with Carson Hinsman discussing the NIL opportunities for young offensive linemen at Ohio State. And then we see Enoch Vamahi, a guy that we've never seen start at Ohio State, get to start in a bowl game, and you get an idea why he hasn't been playing a ton. So I don't even think we got a clear answer there, Q. More on if you're talking about something that needs to be addressed by spring or fall next year, what do you think is a more immediate need? An upgrade at quarterback or upgrades across the offensive line? Because it feels like it's not just one or two pieces. I mean, you could write it in stone every game. Josh Simmons false start or a holding or a illegal hands to the face. I mean, the tired stat of him being one of the most penalized tackles in the country. I know he's had some games there, and we just graded, you guys did on the State of the Program, you graded the offensive staff, and you gave Justin Fry a B plus, and a lot of people said he got a D- through the first 6 games of the year and an A- through the last 6. And I mean, I'm right back at a D- for the performance that we just saw. It's like the only way I can describe this season is a roller coaster because, I mean, it has been up, it has been down, and it feels like every time you feel like you have a beat on this team, it's like, hold my beer, watch me disappoint you in a way that you never thought you could be.
Yeah, Tim Walton is the only guy who's held still in this massive craziness, man. And that's a crazy point. Interesting about the Carson Hinsman situation. He gets suspended for maybe comments he said, but this is also the same NIL who can't get a tackle for the life through the door, and they all end up and they're going to Miami and A&M. So it is just and I don't want to cuss too much. This ain't our channel, but it is a cluster of bad vibes here.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like you need to flip someone on signing day or sign me a 5-star tackle before you start having influence on
a guy
on the starting lineup.
Allegedly.
That's why I'm really interested to see if we do get an explanation on what happened there. It was really curious to see. We talked about it on the pregame show. I want to know where the chat's thoughts are on this one. I didn't want to believe it. I was burning the boats.
Let me answer. I want to hear everybody's. I want to hear everybody's immediate fix. What's the first thing you go to fix this offseason? But for the question you asked me, I think it is the offensive line. I do not understand for the life of me why Ohio State seems to want to wait till spring to hit the portal, especially after a season where you saw like Offensive line is so low on talent that you're pulling guys and just hoping they can play or crossing your fingers. I don't know why we're slow to move on a linebacker. I don't know why we're slow to move on a safety. Josh Proctor can no longer play next season. You would think Sonny Styles hopefully can move down a level. I mean, if not, you can play him in the same position, but you still need two safeties. I mean, Malik Harper's there, but you want to give competition. Like a lot of these positions, I don't understand why we don't just go out and get the best players we can and hope for, especially offensive line. Man, I'm grabbing a center, I'm grabbing a guard, I'm grabbing a tackle, and I'm just seeing what happens. I just don't understand. But O-line, I think, is where we have to start. I'm hoping one of these guys at quarterback can play, and Ryan Day did not miss on 3 straight years of evaluations. I would hope that's not the case, and I would have to believe if Ryan Day is going to be the head coach here and he's a quarterback specialist, that cannot be the problem. So I have to start with the O-line.
But we talk about 3 straight misses, but it seems like a lot of these guys were not first choices. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I mean,
we wanted Quinn, they wanted Dylan.
Yeah.
Devin Brown was a late addition to the class. Lincoln Keenholz was not Ryan Day's first choice. It seems like a lot of these guys are second choices, and the Buckeyes are paying for it. And I hate to go there. We're about to watch Quinn Ewers play in the college football playoffs. I ask you in the chat, if Quinn Ewers is the Ohio State quarterback today, the Buckeyes win by how many? I'll answer that question. They wouldn't be playing today. They'd be in the college football playoff.
No, 100%. And I brought that up because Mike has continued to say, is Ryan Day bad at evaluating quarterbacks? I'm like, well, he's not getting his top guys. If Dylan, he's going to Nebraska, so he probably doesn't go out there and ball. But if he looks like a pro prospect at Nebraska, it's like, well, that's the guy he wanted. Quinn Ewers as well. But, those aren't the only guys in the country who can play quarterback. So even if you get your second option, you're still getting 4- and 5-star guys. So I would have to believe one of them can play. But yeah, man, I don't know. It looks bad right now. And Jeremiah Smith is like, hey, I went to Florida State. Where should I have gone? Because everywhere doesn't have a quarterback that I was considering.
Absolutely. We talked about it on the pregame show. The rumors about Will Howard being a silent commit to the Buckeyes. Watched his highlights begrudgingly before the game in case we saw an offensive output like we saw today, and it feels like the Buckeyes are back in the market for a quarterback. What are your thoughts as far as a transfer quarterback coming in and competing, being given the job? After what you've seen, are you comfortable enough promising someone a starting job if that's what it takes to get them on campus here?
Yeah, I want competition. I understand it's hard with these guys because a lot of these transfer guys are only having 1 year to play. They got to go somewhere immediately so they can try to go pro. I would have took Cam Ward, and I would say, hey, if Devin beats him out, you say, hey, you're the starter, and then you just got beat out later if that were to happen. But I thought he was the best fit here. I talked to say, maybe I would have took 2. Maybe I would have took Daquan Finn for a red zone offense just to help add some juice to that. And even now, I might be like, hey, Daquan Finn, we'll try to teach you how to throw, but come over here. At least it'll be exciting. So I think you got to bring a guy in for competition. Obviously, Devin Brown's not going anywhere. Solid now. And he truly hasn't got his chance yet. Unfortunately, we won't see that. And he has another offseason to develop. So still some hope there. But I think you got to at least bring somebody in for competition. It was Will Howard. If he's the best guy that we can get, we gotta try something. So I'm with it.
I got to get your pick. Will Howard or Cam Ward? Which one are you going with?
Please give me Cam Ward and Josh Kelly, bro. Let me get some swag in this offense. At least those guys are confident walking in the door. I know you hated me for picking a guy to come in zone 6, but I just want some attitude in this room. Just give me a couple guys who feel like they're the best out there and put them in this room and let's see what happens.
No package deals with quarterbacks and wide receivers. Our wide receiver room is quite fine. We just need a quarterback. Do you have any other bright spots from this game? I'm trying my best to find something because I tell myself every time we get to the off season or a big game, I'm don't fire the coach after the game. And it's I'm looking at the notes. I'm down to fire Ryan Day. And it's obviously that's not going to happen, but something fundamentally needs to change around the Buckeyes. What do you think is missing that is keeping the Buckeyes from getting over whatever hurdle it may be? And it seems like it's not. For a while, it felt like just a Michigan thing, but like even after today's loss, it feels like more than Michigan. Do you feel like it's more than Michigan at this time?
I mean, if you're talking about winning a title, and if y'all haven't seen it, definitely check out State of the Programs. Me and Chris Drew put on about no, we did a 2 hour show and an hour, 30-minute show, just basically talking about all the fixes around the program. I think there is a attitude in a culture. I don't want to call it an issue, but I think it's lacking a little bit. I would love to bring in some former players just to get them around the program. I mean, we talked about offense. I would love to get an OC and a quarterback developer outside of Ryan Day, just to get him a little bit away from that and play a more CEO role as far as it goes. I would love to see that. Defensively, I would love to see us get another coach, Parker Fleming, get him up out of there. I think there's some dead weight in this program that is hurting. I think there's some Ohio State culture that is lacking here. I think those are kind of the main issues, and I think we need the best version of Ryan Day if he's going to be here and win a championship. We can't have Michigan Ryan Day where he locks up, doesn't call plays. I can't have the Ryan Day I just seen where it's like, bro, if you lose this game, no one's going to care if you go out with a bang and just balls to the wall. We don't care if you lose this game and look like you don't want to be there, or look like you're like at your play sheet like, I don't know what to call. Devin Brown's hurt. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, I have full confidence in Ryan Day. I've always had him, and as long as he's a head coach at Ohio State, I will back him. But I need to see a culture change as far as just being aggressive and really putting it out there. And I need to see some staff changes to where it looks like we have some juice. I mean, Mickey Marotti's guys, again, tired in the fourth quarter, looking like they're getting beat up a little bit. I understand the defense out there a long time, but it's just like a lot of little things are lacking. And once you add all these little things, it becomes a big thing.
You brought up the staff. Let's talk about two guys that got raises last year. We saw the Buckeyes go 3 deep in their depth chart. Kyle McCord enters the transfer portal and is going to be the next starting quarterback at Syracuse. Devin Brown leaves the game with an injury, but left much to be desired early in the game from his play. Lincoln Keenholz gets in and looks like he hasn't seen Ohio State's playbook ever. We gave our quarterback coach, Corey Dennis, a raise last year. We have our special teams missing their patented bowl game and big game field goal miss. We have false starts, penalties, running into the kicker, blocks in the back. Just blunder after blunder from special teams. How are these two men still employed by the Ohio State University?
I mean, Corey Dennis and Ryan Day are a bit of a package deal. This point is Ryan Day's guy. He wants to coach. He wants the way he wants quarterbacks coached. That's how Corey Dennis is going to coach.
Do you want quarterbacks coached however they were coached this year, though?
I mean, not if I'm dealing with Kyle McCord starting, no.
Because I want to run a theory by you. Someone I saw on the timeline today, Ryan Day without a generational quarterback, and they posted a photo of Jimbo Fisher. Are we giving Corey Dennis too much credit for being the guy standing next to 3 generational quarterbacks?
Man, I think in the worst way, and I was saying it when you stepped out, I think in the worst way, this team needs a OC/quarterback developer outside of Ryan Day.
How do you do that when you're employing a full-time special teams coach and a quarterback coach that works under a head coach who gets paid $8 million because he used to develop quarterbacks well here?
If it was me, I would be going out there. You can't fire Corey Dennis. Obviously, he's Urban Meyer's son-in-law. You can't do that. That is a bad look for the program, especially with the ties.
But okay, so are we putting the feelings of Urban Meyer's family ahead of the Block O? Is that what we're doing?
You can go out and find him a job that looks like an elevation at a smaller program, and then bring a guy in and say, "Hey, Corey's going to call plays at Middle Tennessee State." Like you.
Middle Tennessee beat Miami there. I don't know if they're hiring Corey Dennis is their offensive coordinator.
I'm just saying you can go out and get him a job as an OC somewhere very small to progress his career. I that's the way I would go about it. Parker Fleming has to go. I want 5 staff on offense, 5 staff on defense, and somebody who can also coach special teams like every other school has. The LJ situation, the guys look good today. I would still have moved on from LJ and brought the best defensive line coach I can into the scheme. Somebody's younger, somebody's going to be able to recruit better and things like that, and get another guy on the staff and take out the special teams guy. Like that's the way I would do it. I mean, I just think we're playing like we're not maximizing our potential at Ohio State. We said don't stay in the program. You see it throughout the season. You see it in this bowl game. It is very, very, very like we're just trying not to fuck up instead of we're trying. I'm sorry. We're trying to chase a championship. This game has got me pissed off. I'm sorry, Mark. But y'all know what I mean.
We're living up to our nickname in Spaces, Q. What do they call us? Underachiever U. And I always used to push back against that and be like, well, look at Alabama, number 1 talent composite, number 1 blue chip ratio, and look at the way they struggled early on. And look at Alabama. They're in the playoffs now. And it's like Ohio State, 2nd highest blue chip ratio, one of the highest talent composites in the country. And here we are. We can't score more than 3 points against a Missouri team that struggled against our defense the entire game and only put up 14 points. And we had the conversation. There's only one time this entire year the Buckeyes have given up more than 17 points. One time in the Buckeyes' last 2 games. Unacceptable. A team that used to average almost 38 points a game has now regressed to the point that we are unable to score a touchdown in a bowl game. How does this happen?
I don't know, man. It's definitely rough. Like I could tell you how it happened, but it still shouldn't happen. Like I feel like the offense should still be better, even if you're down to your 3rd string with the amount of weapons that we have. I don't know, man. I don't know. There's a lot of issues around the program, and not even just coaches. I think administration as well, just around the program that really needs to get serious about football. And it's kind of exposing itself to we have been this close to championships in the last 4 or 5 years. You can probably just name 1 or 2 things that have gone wrong to cost us titles, other than 2021 where our defense was just abysmal.
And it's frustrating because it feels like I'm constantly having the battle of we were right there and something has to change. Because again, we're 1 year removed from being a field goal away from playing for a national championship. I mean, I feel like we are a quarterback away this year from competing for a national championship. And it's like every year we're something away. And is that something a different head coach? It just feels like something needs to change for us to get over that hump. And honestly, I don't know what it is. And I'm just spitballing. And I used to get frustrated with Buckeye fans because I'm like, every idea, like it's constant, just crazy asinine idea about what the problem is or what needs to be fixed or who's to blame. And right now I'm like sitting back, kicking my feet up with my arms crossed. Like I'm all ears. Like, let me hear what you guys think, because I'm willing to listen to anything, because I'm almost out of answers at this point. And it's truly frustrating when you see these graphics about Ohio State, the massive alumni base, the NIL donations, the massive athletic department that they have. Ohio State has the resources to step on the throat of college football. If they really wanted to push their thumb and tip the scales of this sport and invest all resources, they could dominate this sport. And the fact that Ohio State, with the investment and the 1-2 that they allege to have, that we haven't been able to tip the scales in this sport, that allows for such an advantage when you have an advantage in resources, is kind of extremely disappointing of what we're seeing at this point. And I don't know how much longer it can go on with this embarrassment of riches that you have as far as resources and support from your alumni base and university, that you're not able to find a way to get it done. And then it brings up another level of concern. We are now in an era where I would imagine a large percentage of the fan base is very unhappy with the performance of Ryan Day and is looking for questions and looking for answers. And we are about to lose our athletic director. Gene Smith is taking pictures, waving at people by at practices during bull practice, like my last hurrah, taking pictures with his foot hanging out of the golf cart at, you know what I mean, at Ohio State. I'm like, one last ride. We're going to be hiring a new football coach with a new athletic director. That worries me. There's a lot of questions to be answered. If Ryan Day were to bolt for the NFL, or if they were to decide he's not the guy, or even decide that they need a new coach after next season, you're going to be having a new athletic director hiring the most powerful person in the athletic department within the first year of his tenure. That does worry me. What are your thoughts there as far as the transition of Gene Smith, a pillar of stability within the Ohio State athletic department for decades at this point? Potentially, well, not potentially, he's retiring in June. The Ohio State having to potentially replace a head coach with a new athletic director.
I mean, I can't. I'll be hypocritical if I were to say, "Oh my God, I'm so worried about Gene Smith going out the door." When 6 months ago I was like, Gene Smith needs to get out the door because I mean, his whole take on NIL and getting donors away from putting money in the kids' pockets and having money to get guys here and like, no, I want to build a new ice hockey rink. It's just like it's crippled the football team. I mean, in the very first day of the program that I did, I went through and I researched how much Ohio State has really spent on facilities. The last 20 years, I found one update that was $8 million since 2000. So it's just like he wasn't really committed to maximizing football. He wanted the team to perform well. I think he's made good decisions, but he wasn't, balls to the wall like, let's go match what Georgia and Alabama are doing. So when you bring a new guy in, I mean, if he prioritizes football, that's great. I would love to see Ohio State really have an NIL. I mean, Gene Smith backed the 1870 foundation, and we hear right before signing day, they're falling apart. Guys are leaving. They may have money. They may not. Guys are flipping. You know what I'm saying? We lose all these recruits that were 1870 guys that were like, oh, they're going to help us go get Lightfoot, or they're going to help us go get Sky, and they're out the door. So it's like, well, what really, like, okay, Gene Smith, you completely jacked this up. So I am happy to have new blood there. I'm hoping it's a flip. I mean, obviously, do we still need to get a new president? Or we got the president, don't have the AD. So we have the new president coming in, but don't have the AD so far. So I think that's going to be a big time hire, but we got to get a guy in here who's going to back the program. I need to see a full bagging of Ryan Day before I say Ryan Day has to go. I'm with that. You give the guy.
Elaborate on that. What do you feel like Ryan Day is missing? Because we just lost to Missouri, which I would argue, while they do have one of the better NILs in the country, it hasn't really produced, a crazy recruiting class for them. And the Buckeyes are still out recruiting them, have better facilities, have more resources, play in an alleged easier conference, and we're still not getting it done. So what is the excuse for a program like Missouri that's able to show up to the Cotton Bowl and beat the Buckeyes?
I mean, I wouldn't pin it as we didn't beat Missouri and they have less than us. So like we got to start there, because if we would have beat Missouri, we'd be up here talking about the same thing. Like that's not the bar that we're aiming for as Ohio State fans. Like it'd be great to go out with a win.
It's not the bar, and we're below it.
I mean, but it's like if Missouri would have lost, I would have came up here and it felt the same way. I just feel like if we're gonna chase the best in the game and try to be dynastic like the teams we want to compete with, Georgia, Alabama, what Clemson used to be, teams like that, then we got to do those things. I mean, we have to have an NIL system that works to get talent here. I mean, why are Miami flipping Ohio State players, but they can't flip a Georgia player or Alabama player? And we're supposed to be on the same line of using NIL in the same ways. That's a red flag there. Like those things, like you got to give Day the resources to go out and be able to keep a Scott, to go get a Brandon Baker, to go get guys like that and fully see what he can do with a program, because it feels like Band-Aid, Band-Aid, Band-Aid. And Ryder has made bad decisions as well. I will agree with that. I don't agree with all his decisions, but it feels like Band-Aids of trying to hold what Urban Meyer built together instead of trying to take what Urban Meyer did and build on top of it. I remember, if you remember back to 2019 when Day took over, it felt like at the mountaintop of what Urban Meyer had built, we were like, okay, we're going to take this to the next level. NIL, transfer portal hit. And ever since that has started, it's felt like Band-Aid edition. Like we're pulling out all the Band-Aid brand, different colors, and putting them up there, trying to hold this thing together. It doesn't feel like this program, and this is a school issue, wants to take this forward and really try to chase those other programs.
So we got a comment from our guy Cam. Kind of glad we got embarrassed. The hand needed to be forced. Changes need to happen. Was Donovan Edwards not enough embarrassment? Like, that's the question that I have for you guys, because it feels like people on Twitter are more, and like people are like, oh, the coaches know more. You don't think they want more? I don't know, because they must not have the same timeline that I do, because I see that Donovan Edwards run 3 times a day, and it makes my blood boil. And it feels like we're here talking after we needed to lose to Missouri and only put up 3 points for the hands to be forced. I'm sorry. The third time Donovan Edwards ran through my defense and talked about how he was never losing to Ohio State and watched them plant a flag, like, how much more embarrassment do we need? Because personally, I've had enough. Like, some people may think that we needed it. I'm kind of disappointed that we needed any more embarrassment, because the last 3 years have been embarrassing as hell to me, quite personally. I keep seeing John Cooper's better than Ryan Day or Ryan Cooper. I'm right there because I feel like I'm living through the John Cooper era. Like, I'm not going to date myself, but I was a child during the Cooper era. And like, I feel like I'm getting a taste of my own medicine. I grew up in Pittsburgh. I didn't get to live through the struggle of the Cooper era, and I feel like I'm getting a taste of my own medicine. And I used to say stupid shit like, I hope Ohio State and Michigan add some juice back to this rivalry. It's getting stale. I lied. I take it back. I will take that rivalry being stale to the day I die. I'm sick of losing to them. This is not exciting. This is not fun. And I'm sorry, Cam, I have to disagree. I've had enough embarrassment. Like, I don't think the hand needed to be forced. I feel like there have been enough things that have happened that have embarrassed this program enough that we did not need this performance to force the hand, and the changes should have been made already.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's been a momentum decline for so long. Like, it's felt momentum has never upshifted. I feel like it's been downshifting. I mean, even going back to 2020, probably that Michigan loss in 2021. I feel like in the CJ Stroud year, it was momentum decline. And then he came out and had the performance at the very end against Georgia. And we're like, oh, we got some hope here. And it kind of leveled out. And it was like, okay, maybe we're going to do something. And it was back to the decline. And now we're here another year later. And it's still like, does anything go right? Do you want to check the timeline and be like, what's going right for Ohio State today? Oh, we didn't get another transfer. Oh, another recruit just flipped. Oh, Parker Fleming still has a job. Like, it's just like,
that deflated me. That last one got me.
It's like the light switch has to turn on somewhere. Oh, the Ohio State Ron puts out another better video than Ohio State media does, and that's their job. It's like some light switch has to get flipped on, and I want to. It falls at the feet of Ryan Day because he's the head coach. But there is a lot of people inside the Woody who are not coaches making football decisions, and in the university making football decisions that don't get the limelight. There's a lot of people working behind on the NIL front that don't get the limelight. So I am wary to put it all at the feet of Ryan Day. I think it's an entire university program issue of why we have no juice, what we are selling, how much we are spending on recruiting weekends, like how much are we really investing in, how much are they bought in, and are they bought into building medical facilities around Columbus and having it look like the best city in the world? Or do they want to win natties? Like, that's
this man Q said, steal money from the Children's Hospital like they did at Miami. If you really care about it, Miami's out here stealing money from Children's Hospitals so they could go lose to Rutgers. So I mean, I don't know how good of a plan that is. Things could be worse. I guess a little bit of perspective for Buckeye fans: you could be spending just as much as Miami and still losing to Rutgers. I know it doesn't feel much better losing to Missouri, but I mean, hey, we can still beat Rutgers. Miami is out here getting the 3rd recruiting class in the country and losing to the doormat of the Big Ten. So you hate to see it, but man, I see our guy, James Williams, said he's from Pittsburgh too. Shout out to all of the Yinzer Bucks out there. Let us know in the chat where you are watching from and where the Buckeyes ruined your day. So let us know where you're watching. We appreciate you tuning in for this instant reaction to the Cotton Bowl loss. The Buckeyes fall to the Missouri Tigers 14-3. We appreciate Mark Rogers for having us on the channel all season for instant reactions, a combination of me, my guy Q, Cam, and our guy Mike holding it down. He is at the game live, so prayers to Mike having to witness that in person. I know he is drinking away his sorrows, but it has been awesome to hang out on this channel. If any of you guys are new to our content or unfamiliar with us, we do multiple shows on the Best Damn Media YouTube platform, the Buckeye Roast, a show that runs during the season daily, Monday through Friday. We have Buckeye BS, a show that runs year-round every Sunday. It is our flagship program. We do instant reactions and shows on Bleacher Report and live streams over there, as well as the Best Damn Space on Twitter. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Always love the support. We hope to tap in with you guys throughout the off season. If you are new to our content, make sure that you subscribe over at the Best Damn Media YouTube channel. We appreciate Mark Rogers for having us. If you could like, comment, and subscribe over here of the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel. Mark does great work over here, has tons of people from Ohio State giving all types of perspectives. And just a big thank you to Mark. He's been so gracious to lend this platform to us this season and been so thankful for the opportunity. So again, a big thank you to Mark Rogers for having us here. Q, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man. First, just shout out to y'all. I think we had up to 100 something people in here, so make sure to like that video. It's great hanging out with y'all. Like I said, tap in with us at Best Damn Media if you haven't seen us over there. And I see it got Raul in here. Shout out to him. He's from Puerto Rico, I do believe. So you over here late catching the game, hanging out with us. I appreciate that. Got a lot of guys from Ohio. I hope Insomnia Cookies is hoping get the 12-pack. Do all that, man. It was a rough night, but oh, man, blessed to do this. Shout out to Mark again. I appreciate him having us. I watched the channel for so long, and the chance to be up here and actually talk and have people listen is just a great experience. If you want to find me, City Boy Quentin on Twitter, Find Johnson on Instagram. Best Damn Media will be over there. We have our reaction again Sunday, so we'll talk about it and kind of wrap this whole season up in a bow, and a lot of good content coming. And be excited to be back here and talk more post-game reaction when we have the Natty in 2024. So that's you can find me, Ron.
Absolutely. If you want to find me, you can find me on Twitter at 2_TEES. You can find me on Twitch at the same thing, and TikTok at 2Shiesty. We will be on the timeline all off season, and of course on the Best Damn Media YouTube. We appreciate you guys tuning in for this post game reaction on the Voice of College Football Ohio State channel. I am Ron James of Best Damn Media. That is my guy QP Ski. Thank you guys for tuning in all season. I hope you guys had a great holiday and have a happy New Year's. Do not let the Buckeyes steal all of your joy. There are still things to be happy about. So go Bucks and OH.
Ayo.